I'm kind of like scared about like where our country's headed. I feel like we're just kind of, especially with the election, we're really just headed towards becoming a fascist dictatorship.
Okay.
You know, especially with like Donald Trump and his like radical MAGA Project 2025 agenda. You know, like, you know, and then that's the thing, like, it's actually kind of a personal story because like my wife, you know, we kind of have a non-traditional thing going. My wife, she's a drag queen and a trans sex worker, and you know, she's gonna get fired from teaching kindergarten in like the Austin Independent School District. And it's because Donald Trump wants to like literally abolish the Department of Education. And I've been making TikTok videos to kind of highlight the blatant transphobia, the blatant racism, the blatant white supremacy that's like been happening all across America. And like, you know, not allowing my wife to teach kids and mold young minds after she's had like multiple successful operations, you know, it literally contributes to like us becoming a white supremacist country equivalent to Nazi Germany. It's full-blown Nazism, right? And, you know, banning TikTok, like that's how I get my message across. And so what am I gonna do about like, that's what I'm saying, like, what am I gonna do about my wife? You know, and being a teacher, you barely make any money anyway. And like, we had to, you know, make content for OnlyFans, just so that we could pay our rent. Okay, like, do you know what that's like? Being a kindergarten teacher who's medically transitioned, you have to perform sex work and make content for OnlyFans to basically pay your bills and survive, because our country is an oligarchy that's for the rich and by the rich. And, you know, Donald Trump's election, it's literally solidifying that we do not have a democracy. And you know, we're basically like one step away from turning into Nazi Germany. You know, and then now they're trying to take my voice away by banning TikTok, just like they're trying to take like my wife's livelihood away because she's a drag queen and a trans sex worker and she's not going to be allowed to teach kindergarten. No, it's full-blown fascism, and I've had enough of this, and we need to protest this, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure that Donald Trump and his radical MAGA Project 2025 agenda does not come to the United States. And so that's really why I'm like super upset about the TikTok ban.
Do you agree with any of the concerns that they had when they came up with this ban, that it could be used by China to spy on U.S. citizens?
Hey, honestly, we should be more like China. You know, people in China, they all have a livable wage. They drive nicer cars. They actually have a social credit system in place where you get rewarded for being a good person. The way they distribute their money through the digital yuan, you know, we should have a central bank digital currency in America instead of this Bitcoin crap where, you know, some guy who didn't want to wear a mask would get vaccinated during COVID, or some guy who you know, wants to erase transgenders, or somebody who doesn't support the war in Ukraine. You know, people like that have no right to be able to freely transact and go to the grocery store and, you know, use essential goods and services. And, you know, a central bank digital currency only makes it so that bad people are not allowed to participate in our economy. And that's why kind of like we should be more like China. And like, you know, banning TikTok, it's basically saying that we want nothing to do with equity. We want nothing to do with healthcare. We want nothing to do with like upholding progressive values, because like true progressive values, you know, make it so that everybody gets a livable wage. It's connected to something like a central bank digital currency that's controlled so that, you know, we make sure nobody cheats and everything is actual equity. And, you know, if you're spreading disinformation to undermine, like, you know, the equitable future that we need to sustain our planet, then like, why should you be able to have a bank account? Why should you be able to go to the store? Why should you be allowed to eat red meat when cows are literally killing the planet? Why are we even allowed to have children right now when we're in a full-blown climate crisis, and we're going to just, put more carbon in the atmosphere? You know, when you have children, you're basically saying that you want to kill my grandmother at this point. And so, yeah, no, we should be more like China. And so banning TikTok, it's white supremacy, and it borders on violence, actually. It makes me feel like me and my wife are being erased.
Thank you.
No, yeah, thank you.